So this is the perfect little chick for any Easter basket this year. You can make it in pastel colors if you'd like to make it look more like a peep. You could keep it chicken colors, right? Okay, so today we're going to go ahead and we are making Chica, the little chick that's a perfect pattern for Easter. So what we're going to do is you need to first have your size C 2.75 millimeter hook, and then any acrylic yarn will work. A 4-weight is the best, and that is what I'm working with, but you could do a 3-weight if you have that as well. And then color of your choice. So I'm just going to go with this kind of pale yellow color for Easter. So we are going to actually start with a chain 5. So you need to first make a slip knot on your hook. So I'm wrapping this yarn around my fingers. Then I'm going to put the tail through the circle that's going around, and I'm going to grab the loop that it's creating, okay? And then grab your tail and your working yarn, and then let your hook be the one to pull it and create that slip knot. Okay, so now that you have a slip knot on your hook, you're going to go ahead and chain 5. So to chain, all we're doing is yarning over and then pulling that loop through. That's 1, yarn over, pull through, that's 2, yarn over, pull through, that's 3, yarn over, pull through, 4, one more time, yarn over, pull through, 5. Okay, so you've now got 5 chain here, and we're going to start by working into the second chain from our hook. So you'll see here's the hook, that first V shape, that's the first chain from the hook. You're going to go into the second chain from the hook, and we're going to do 2 single crochets into that second chain. So we're going to go into the center of the V, through to the back, yarn over from the back, pull forward a loop. So now you should have 2 on your hook, yarn over again, and pull that loop through both the ones that are on your hook there. That's a single crochet. Now we're going to do the same into the same stitch. Okay, so going back into that same center of that first V here, or rather it's the second stitch from your hook, yarn over from the back, pull forward a loop, yarn over and pull that loop through the 2 on your hook. That's another single crochet. So now we've done 2 into that second chain from the hook. Now we're going to do, working along the side here, 2 more single crochets. So you're looking at the V's, you're going to go here into this back loop. So you're going again through the center of the V, through to the back, yarning over from the back, pull forward a loop. Okay, yarn over and pull through both. There you go. That's 1 single crochet along the chain. We're going to go into this next one here. So again, into the center of that V stitch that you made your chain. Through to the back, yarn over from the back, pull forward that loop. That's 2 on your hook, yarn over and pull through. Okay, so there's the next single crochet. Now we're in the last chain here, or the first one that we made, right, in the very beginning. We're going to do 2 single crochets into this last chain. So again, we're going into the center of the V, yarning over from the back, pull forward a loop, yarn over and pull through, go into that same stitch, yarn over from the back, pull forward, yarn over and pull through. Okay, so we've worked along one side of the chain. Now we're going to continue working along this back side here. Okay, so we're creating this oval shape. So you're going to go along the back side here in these other loops that you've left behind. Okay, so we're going to do 2 single crochets along the other side. So the 2 or the increase that you did here on the end, that's allowing you to now work on these other ones. All right, so you're going to go in underneath that other loop that you left, yarning over, pull forward a loop, yarn over and pull through. Okay, do that on the next one. Again, yarning over from the back, pull forward your loop, yarn over and pull through. Okay, so that's creating your little oval shape here. So you should have now 8 stitches around. So from your hook, you'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, that isn't a stitch right there. That's where you tied off your slip stitch on your hook. So you've got 8 now on your hook. Let's go ahead and get your stitch marker and place your stitch marker. So I've got one right here. So you're going to place your stitch marker on your working loop that's around your hook, okay? So go ahead and place your stitch marker. Okay, for round 2, we're going to start with 2 increases, all right? Because we did 1 increase in each of the sides, we're now increasing along those bends there just to keep growing the size of our little chick. So make sure you grab both of the loops there so that you're going basically underneath the V, right, of the stitch. So the stitches look like this. You're going underneath them. So through to the back, yarning over, pull forward your loop, yarn over and pull through. That's the first single crochet. Now go in the same space. So under that first stitch there, yarn over from the back, pull forward your loop, yarn over and pull through. Okay, so that's 1 increase, because an increase is just putting 2 stitches in 1 from the prior round. So now we're going to go into the next stitch here. So it's this one. You can see the V there. I'm going underneath it, yarning over, pull forward a loop, yarn over, pull through. That's 1 single crochet. Now do another one in that same stitch. So there's our second increase, all right? Now we're going to go 2 along the side. So we're not increasing, we're just maintaining the size. So we're going under the V in the next stitch, yarning over from the back, pulling forward, yarning over, pulling through, going underneath the next, yarning over from the back, pull forward your loop, yarn over and pull through. Now we're over to the next edge here where we had our increase. So we're now going to do, once again, 2 increases to maintain building up our size here. So under the next stitch, we're going to put 2 single crochets. All right, so going underneath in the same one there, yarning over, pull a loop, yarn over and pull through those loops. Now we're going into the next. So that had 1 increase. Now we're doing 1 more increase. Okay, doing our single crochets, but 2 in the one, right? 2 in the same stitch to increase around. All right, now we've got 2 more stitches left, and those you're gonna just maintain. So we're just doing 1 single crochet into each of these side ones here. Okay, so we're bringing our loop forward, yarn over and pull through. All right, so that's round 2. Now we will replace our stitch marker here on the working loop that's around our hook. And we're going to start round 3. Round 3 is the pattern single crochet and then an increase. And we're going to do that 2 times as we round the bend. So we're doing a single crochet in this first one. In the next, we're going to do an increase. So remember 2 in the one, right? You're doing 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Next one is a single crochet again to follow the pattern, and then another increase. That gets you the pattern that goes around the bend there. So we've done our single crochet and then an increase, single crochet and then an increase. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets along the side here. So again, just going underneath the V, grabbing a stitch here, grabbing a loop, yarning over, pulling through them both, going in, yarn over, pull forward a loop, yarn over and pull through both. And next, last one here, and pull through, okay? So now we've got those 3 stitches. The next thing we're going to do is 2 increases here, okay? 2 around this bend. So just doing 2 single crochets in each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 increase. Then going into the next one, we're going to do 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets. There's our second increase. And then we'll go ahead and finish off this round with just 3 single crochets. So here's 1, the next one, there's 2, and the last one is 3. Okay, replace your stitch marker. Round 4, we're starting with 10 single crochets. So we've built up one side, so we're just going to go ahead and maintain here as we build up the little tail on the back. So we're going around 10 single crochets, so let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. And then the next is 2 increases along the tail here. So let's do 2 increases. So there's 1 single crochet, here's the second. That's 1 increase, 1 more time. 1 single crochet, 1 more in that same stitch. There's 2. Okay, and we'll continue on doing 4 single crochets to finish this round. So just 1, 2, next one's 3, and last one is 4. All right, now we can replace our stitch marker. You're starting to see the shape of our little chick. Okay, so for the next round, we're going to start with 2 single crochets. So here's the first one and the next one. And then we're going to do 1 increase. So let's do 2 in the 1 here. Okay, then 7 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're going to do the pattern single crochet and then an increase 2 times. So we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase. That's 2 in the 1. Then do another single crochet and then another increase. Okay, and then last we're going to end this round with just 4 single crochets as we work our way around our little chick here. Okay, 1 more. And that finishes that round. So let's replace our stitch marker here. Perfect. All right, in the next round, we're going to go ahead and start with 13 single crochets. So you should be on round 6. So if you're counting, you've got the one you went around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on round 6. So starting with 13 single crochets. So let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And now we're going to do an invisible decrease. I like to do the invisible decrease, and it's going to go across the next 3 stitches. Okay, so this is going to create that tail shape. So in order to go across 3 stitches and doing them invisible, we're working in the front loops only. So if you're looking at the V, it's the closest half of that V that's closest to you. So we're going under the first loop here, just like that, and up through the center of the V. Now go up underneath that second loop in the next stitch, again up through the center of the V. And then one more time, we're going under that first front loop up through the center of the V. Okay, then we're grabbing a loop from the back, so we yarned over. Okay, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through those last 2. Okay, so that's just so that it doesn't gather too fast. We're just giving ourselves a little bit of an extra lead there. So now that we've done that, we're going to finish this round with 5 single crochets. So make sure you see where you went into last to grab that third loop. And the first time you see a full V, that's the next one that you're going into, okay? If you're still unsure, you can always count back from your stitch marker. Make sure you don't count that stitch marker one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you just want to make sure you get 5 single crochets in. So we're finishing off that round there. We got 2 more. There's 1 more. Okay. Round 7. So we're replacing our stitch marker. We're starting with a single crochet. So we're going to do 1 single crochet here. Okay. And then we're going to do the pattern single crochet and then an increase 2 times. So we'll do our single crochet in the next, then an increase, okay, single crochet in the next, and another increase. Now we're doing 7 single crochets down the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to do 2 invisible decreases. Okay, so the first one, we're going to go under that first front loop only there, up through the center of the V of the stitch, go into the next one, again from the underneath of the stitch there, up through the center of the V. Okay, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1 invisible decrease. Now we're going to do the next one. We're going up underneath that first loop, up through the center of the V, and then do that same thing on the next one, just like that. Yarn over, pull through those 2. Okay, so you have 2 left, yarn over and pull through those last 2. Okay, and then we'll be finishing off this round with 3 single crochets. So again, we're going to just finish it off nice and easy, 3 single crochets, just as we did on all the other rounds. So you can see how the little tail is forming here, and we've got the face side there. We need to do 1 more round, and then we're going to be attaching the facial details. So let's go ahead and finish round 8. It's going to be 4 single crochets to start. So we're just going to go into each one here, yarning over in the back, pull forward your loop, yarn over, pull through those last 2, and do that total of 4 times. Now we're going to do 1 invisible decrease. So we're going to go under that front loop only, up through the center of the V, going again next in the next one over here, same thing. Yarn over, pull through those loops. Okay. And yarn over and pull through those last loops. There we go. Continue with 6 single crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so there we go. Now we're going to do 3 invisible decreases. So again, going through the front loops only, going underneath the front loop, up through the center, going under the next loop, up through the center, and yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and do that 2 more times. So again, up through the underneath side of that front loop, just up through the center, and do that with the next one, and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, 1 more time. Okay, and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and then we have 1 more single crochet right here on the end. All right, and then replace your stitch marker. You will need to get your safety eyes, so make sure you grab a pair of safety eyes, and then we'll also be embroidering the mouth. Okay, so I've grabbed another chick that I have here that was made with the same size yarn and that was made with the same hook. And the eyes that I have here are 4mm eyes. Now I ran out of 4mm eyes, but I do have 5mm. So I am going to use 5mm eyes for mine. But just so you know, if you do have 4mm, that would work perfectly for this size. And you want to count up from the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This is going to be between rows 6 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it's going to be between these two. Whoops. So again, looking at the back side here, you can always adjust as needed. Let me drop that chick right there. All right, so let's wiggle in the safety eye. Okay, so I'm just looking to see how many stitches apart from each other. 1, 2, 3, about 4 stitches apart. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be about here or so. So again, these are a little bit bigger, but you know what? Because I'm using this cotton yarn, because that's what I had, it is coming out. You'll notice a little bit bigger as well of a chick. This one was made with the soft acrylic yarn, so that one comes out a little bit smaller. But I think this looks like a good spacing apart. So let's go ahead and stick the backs on and then get a spare piece of alternating thread. So for mine, I have orange that I'm going to do, and we will go ahead and embroider the beak. So you'll see the backs are in. Now we are going to get our spare piece of yarn. Just cut off a little piece. You don't need too much. A yarn needle or tapestry needle. Those are the blunt ended needles here, so they're not sharp or anything. Just thread your yarn through. Okay, now you can knot the end if you want, but the other way that I have to do this is to actually tie the backs together, and that's just another way that you can fasten these off. So you kind of notice here, we do go pretty close to the eyes, not exactly to the eyes, give just a little wiggle room on the sides there, but you're going to go over it a couple times. So just go ahead and find a good spot. Just don't pull it all the way through, leave a tail. You can hold it with your fingers if you need to. Okay. Then go back down in, coming back by your other yarn, because you are going to do this a couple times just to get a nice little beak shape here. You can even do the bottom one a little bit in, not quite as wide, so that would give it a little bit of an underlip, if you will. Okay, just like that. So see, nice and easy little beak. I'm going to go over the top one just one more time just to let it come out a little further, and then we will tie these off in the inside of the chick. Okay, just like so. There he is. So now I'm going to tie the two ends together, double or triple knot, your choice. But that's going to be on the inside, so it will not come out. Just make a big enough knot here. One more time. All right, and then I'm going to clip away the ends here, like so. All right, so mine's going to look a little bit more like a duck because of the colors, but little chicks can be these colors too. Okay, so now you're done with all of those. Now you're going to grab your hook again, and we will continue on. So with round 9, we're going to do the pattern 3 single crochet and an invisible decrease. And then we'll do that all the way around, okay? So we're going to do single crochet in the next, single crochet in the next, and then invisible decrease. Repeat that pattern all the way around. 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and an invisible decrease. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3, and invisible decrease. Remember, that's just through the front loops. You can do a regular decrease too if you'd like, that's up to you. But I do prefer the invisible decrease, it's not as noticeable. Replace your stitch marker, and now you need to grab your stuffing. So grab your stuffing. We're going to stuff this little guy and close off the top, and then we'll make his little head bits. Okay, I've got my stuffing here. So I'm gonna start doing the next round, and then if we need to, we can always add a little titch more stuffing there afterwards. So let's grab our hook here. And now we're just gonna invisible decrease all the way around. So we will end up with 6 stitches here at the end. So we're just going again through the front loops only for the invisible decrease, and yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, going into the next one here, whoops. And just all the way around. So you will have, like I said, you'll have enough room if you do need to stuff it a little bit more. You may need to get a little tool like some tweezers or a little wooden stick, you know, something like that, that will help you stuff, because our fingers will probably not fit in there unless you have a little munchkin that can help you. But mine will definitely not fit into a 6 single crochet around a little hole. So, but we have enough things that we can use. So even if you have a pen or a pencil on the back, you can use that too. Whatever you've got handy next to you. Okay, so that's the end of the stitching for the chick portion. And again, you do, for mine, I'm probably going to stuff it just a little bit more here. So again, you might maybe can use the back of that. You can see if you have another hook that has a smaller one that you can use, but those will work just fine. Okay, so I'm just going to use that and stick a little bit more stuffing in just to round the top out here. Easier to do this after actually that last round, just because otherwise you're trying to hold the stuffing in if you've really stuffed it to accommodate for that last round. It's better just to wait and then just do that right at the end here. So just see if you like the stuffiness of it, you know. Again, you can see it's just a little bit bigger than the other one here. So I think that 5mm eyes on this little guy actually worked perfectly because he's a little bit bigger. So I think I am just about there. So when you've got that little chick ready to go, now we're going to cut away the end. Okay. We are going to do a slip stitch in the next stitch here because we're fastening this off. So slip stitch in the next, that's just yarning over from the back, pull forward that loop, so you got the 2, and then just pull that one loop there through the other. So that's a slip stitch. Create a loop and put the tail through the loop and then pull. Okay, so now you've got that little ring open right there. So grab your yarn needle. And what we're going to do to close that hole is you weave through the front loops only. So we're going to go from the outside to the inside of the circle, just again through the front loops, then from the inside to the outside, and the next one, see that? Okay, gently pull, don't pull tight yet. Then go into the next, go outside in, inside out, just like that. And you have one more here, outside in, inside out. Okay, and pull. Now you can pull tight to close that little gap. Okay, I like to go down into the head. I'm going to come out somewhere else. We'll go to the bottom here. Okay, and just gently pull. That'll round out that head up top at the top there. And I'm going to just take a full stitch here along the bottom. Okay, you see how I've got that full stitch? And I am just tying this off, like tying a little knot, right? And then when you lift it up, you'll see this little space underneath, the little gap. That's where you're going to put your needle coming out somewhere else on your chick. And then you'll see as the knot gets tucked onto the inside of the chick. Okay, so it's no longer on the outside, it's tucked onto the inside. And then you can cut away the end. And the chick itself, the body anyways, is done, but we need to do the little red headdress there. So you're going to need your red yarn. This is called the head comb of the chick. All right, so grab your red. I've got mine right here. Set your chick aside. Find the end. See, I've got scrap yarn, so I get to use up some of my scrap yarn here. And this is so easy, you guys, okay? So give yourself a little tail. We're starting with a chain 3. So again, wrapping that tail around your fingers, going in through that oval there with a loop that you're creating. See that? But don't pull it through yet. You got to grab that tail. So now you have it like an A, and then gently pull. So that's created your slip knot right here. Slip that on your hook, and then you can pull the tail until you've got that nicely around your hook there. Okay, chaining 3, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through, there's the 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to slip stitch in the first chain that we did. So this first chain right at the start, okay, which is also the 3rd chain from your hook. So here's your hook, 1, 2, 3, or that first chain. So you're just going into the center of the V, yarning over from the back, pull forward that loop, okay, and then pull through that final loop there. So that's the first one. And you're going to do that again. So do another chain 3, 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And again, going into that first one, which is the 3rd chain from the hook, 1, 2, and 3, you're going to do a slip stitch. All right, so kind of almost creates like a little heart shape, if you will. It's very simple. Once you've done that, you can pull the loop out there, cut away your yarn, and then you're going to pull this, figure out which one is your tail. It's this one. Pull that through your loop and fasten off, okay? All right, so there's your little heart shape. That's what we're going to stitch down to the top of our chicken. So grab your yarn needle, grab your little chick here. Just kind of see that the comb here, the head comb, it's sitting, here's your little beak, so, and there's your eyes. So 1, 2, 3, it's about the 3rd row back there, and it's along just in that top section here, okay? So we'll do the same with this little guy. So we're just going in through the center here to attach. We're going to come up just underneath there. Make sure that the comb's coming forward. And you're going to pick up the stitch in the beginning here, the front area, going back down into that center, coming back out to the back. Okay, and then you can tie this one off. So tie it off to that initial one, tie knot like so, lift it up, go underneath, come out somewhere else, pull the knot in, do the same with this other end here, threading it through, going back into the chick's head. So this is the perfect little chick for any Easter basket this year. You can make it in pastel colors if you'd like to make it look more like a peep. You could keep it chicken colors, right? So here you have it. That's it. That's all she wrote. That's the little chickadee here. Now, if you'd like to make the nest, I'm going to show that really quick. It's nice and easy, but if you're interested, keep watching and we will make a little nest for this guy to sit in. So let's make that nest really quick. So for the nest, we're starting with 6 single crochets and a double magic ring. So I twist this around once and twice. So you see those 2 along the top, there's 2, and that back. We're gonna go under the first 2 loops, up and over the last one, pull forward your A, slip your little fingers out and yarn over from the back, pull that one through. That creates a slip knot on your ring there. Now diving into the center of the ring, we're going to do 6 single crochets. So we've yarned over from the back, pull forward, second loop, yarn over and pull through, go back into the center, yarn over from the back, pull forward, yarn over and pull through. That's 2. And you just keep doing that same thing. So we've got single crochets going here. There's 6 of them we need to do. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you start to pull a tail. You'll notice one of the 2 loops going in. Grab that one, pull that one first, and that will pull the other tail in, or the other loop in rather. Now grab the tail and pull that. All right, so now you've got your magic ring. Place your stitch marker. Now we're going to follow a pattern here. We're increasing evenly around as you do often with amigurumi. So you're going into this next stitch here. We're going to do an increase in every one of the 6 stitches from that prior round, okay? I lay the tail over the top, so I'm working the tail into my project. Just helps fasten it down and tucks it in a little bit more. It's not necessary, but it is something nice to do, I think. Okay, so we're putting 2 in each of the single crochets that we had in that first round. So by the end of this round, round 2, you should have 12 single crochets by the end of it, right? So we're taking the first 6 times 2 in each one, and that gets you 12 total. So just keep going all the way around with increases here. Now it's nice and fastened to that tail. You can tuck it to the back or clip it away. And now the next round, we're doing the pattern single crochet and then an increase all the way around. So this is just increasing evenly so we can build up our circle. By the end of this round, you're going to be having 18 stitches. So again, this one's an increase. Next one is single crochet, then an increase. As we go around all the way, single crochet and an increase. We have one more round here where we're going to be increasing. So the next round, that's round 4, we're going to be doing 2 single crochets and then an increase. So we're going to do single crochet, there's 1, next one single crochet, that's 2. Now do an increase. So 2 in the 1, okay? Then keep doing that same pattern. So here's 1 single crochet, the second one, and then an increase. And again, there's 1, there's the next one, that's 2, and an increase. We're doing that all the way around. Then we're going to build up the sides of the nest once we finish this round. So we're almost there. All right, one more, actually 2 more here. So 1, 2, and an increase. 1 more. 1, 2, and an increase. Okay, so the next round, round 5, we're just doing single crochets all the way around. We've already built up to the size we want, but the difference here is we're only working in the back loops only. So if you're looking at your project here and you see the V, you're going to go in through the center of the V through to the back, just grabbing that back loop. Okay, so in the invisible decreases, we work the front loops. Now we're just working into these back loops. So we're going in through the center of the V, through to the back, yarn over, pull forward, yarn over, pull through. We're doing that single crochets through the back loops only, all the way around. And what that does is it creates a little ridge that helps this to sit more flat by leaving those front loops unworked. So you'll see this little ridge that's left behind. So that's a technique you can do in amigurumi that I like to do when I want the bottom to be more flat. It is hard to kind of get a solidly flat bottom, you know, so this is kind of the next best thing here. So we're just going to go all the way around, making sure we're only working in those back loops. This is the Red Heart Fleck yarn. I like this for nests because it's got all these different flecks and bits that look kind of like sticks that a bird might have put in their nest. So we're going all the way around here. Okay, almost done. And then once you've done that, we'll replace our stitch marker, and our final round, round 6, is doing the pattern 4 single crochet and an invisible decrease all the way around. So now we're working through both loops. We're going to do 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then invisible decrease through the front loops only. So we're picking up the next 2 stitches there through those front loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and then discontinue that pattern all the way around. So doing 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then an invisible decrease. And just keep that going. So if you were making these as peep colors, you could do either a fun vibrant colored nest, or you could even do a chocolate colored nest. So it looks like it's dipped in chocolate. That would be cute. There's some fun little ideas here for Easter holiday. And last 4 single crochets and our last invisible decrease. Okay, so the nest, that's it for the nest, you guys. So the only thing we have left to do here is to fasten off our yarn. So let's take our stitch marker out, slip stitch in the next, cut away your yarn. Okay, pull your loop up, grab the tail there, and pull the tail through to fasten off. I'm going to clip away this excess. And then you'll just take your yarn needle and weave this end in just so it's not sticking out. So you'll just have it going. I always go through the center of the V just to tuck it down. You're going in between stitches if you can, just so you don't see that you're weaving them in. But you see how the needle's there? You don't see it on the outside. That means it's between the stitches, okay? And do whatever you need to feel like that's nicely tucked in there, and then cut it away, and I will meet you back and we'll do the final reveal. So we've got our little nest. Let's get our little chick, and there he is. He fits in his little nest beautifully. Perfect size for a little chick. Now that's, I think, an adorable little gift for Easter. I mean, you could even do little chains and make it into a basket if you wanted to, but I think it's cute just as it is. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this little pattern and a little fun tutorial here for Easter that's coming up very quickly. Or, you know, like I said, it's a good gift for anybody that likes chickens.